Hi guys, I did not have time to make a video before I left school yesterday, so nothing fancy. I'm just going to go over the questions that we've already learned. And again, if you have any additional questions that are coming to tutoring on Monday, just go ahead and bring them with you. Okay, and please forgive if my dogs decide to talk because I am at home. And Maxie is trying to get in on the picture, so forgive me. So here we go. And by the way, I put up a new version of the study guide. A lot of people are having glitches downloading it, so hopefully this one will work better. It's a more updated version of a Word. I realized the one I put up was it's like Word 97, which is probably why I was glitching. So this is the updated one, all right? So let's start with question number 2. Anything that has the word cush in it, you're going to ignore because we aren't going to learn about cush until the very end of the unit, all right? So number 2, which of the following best describes the topography of Northeast Africa? Or what best describes the topography of Northeast Africa? The topography of Northeast Africa is best described as hot and dry and desert-like. Number 6, skip to number 6. Which water source had the greatest impact on early settlements, the Nile or the Mediterranean Sea? Although the Mediterranean Sea gave the Egyptians and the Kushites great trade routes, the Nile River is what they call Egypt the gift of the Nile, because of everything it was able to do. Egypt could not have been a great civilization with just the Mediterranean alone. It is because of the Nile that they were able to successfully farm and grow their civilization into a rich and powerful empire. Number 7, how did the annual flooding of the Nile impact their society? The annual flooding of the Nile impacts by it bringing silt to the soil, making the soil very fertile. Remember, they only had 3 seasons, and so they had to figure out how to control the flooding with irrigation systems because they are an arid temperature most of the year. Number 8, what did all 3 periods of ancient Egypt have in common? This came from our notes the other day. Remember, it's the Old Kingdom, the Middle Kingdom, and the New Kingdom. They all had building structures, innovations, and strong pharaohs. Number 9. What's the basis of the pharaoh's power? They believed that the pharaoh was a god walking on earth. Number 10. How would you best describe the attitude of the pharaohs as evident in their structures? Well, they were powerful. They wanted to show off their power and their wealth by building monuments to themselves. So they were very sort of ego-driven guys that would do anything at any cost to get their monuments built to themselves. Number 13. How would you best describe, the Great Pyramid indicates what about the ancient Egyptians? The Great Pyramids indicate the ancient Egyptians had successful command of geometry and architecture, and also shows that the pharaoh was powerful enough to get laborers to work on the pyramids. Number 16, what was the rule of Pharaoh Hatshepsut so impressive? The rule of Pharaoh Hatshepsut was impressive because she was a woman and she disguised herself as a man. And I guess we could also add that she ruled peacefully. And we're going to learn more about her trading in a future lesson. So I'll come back to that question in more detail. Number 18. Why was Ramses the Great so great? He was so great because he fought major wars against the Hittites and the Libyans, and he built many temples, and he made a peace treaty with the Hittites. Again, we're going to learn more about that when we talk about Ramses. Number 19. How was the social structure of ancient Egypt similar to the social structure of ancient Sumer? So they both have this social pyramid with the king at the top. And you have the middle class made up of scribes, artisans, and merchants, and farmers, peasants, and slaves at the bottom. Number 20. Why would you describe Ramses the Great as being described as vain or conceited? He's vain or conceited because he had all these temples built to himself, not just a pyramid for himself, but actual statues of himself built. And last one we're going to go through is number 22. Explain the irony of the peasants, made up as the lower social classes, having the fewer rights and advantages. So if you remember, on the bottom of the pyramid is the majority of people, and they're the ones growing the food that causes or allows Egypt to trade with other civilizations and become so rich and powerful. So everybody else is making money off of this large group of people, and yet they do all the labor to build these great structures and to farm the land. All right. I will post this up for now, and then when I have a moment to sit down and make a better presentation for you, I will. But hopefully this helps, and I hope I see you at tutoring.